Girl, I'm trying to come and chill with you. Flip a doujin in the bed, I'm reading manga till it's 2. Tell me that you love us if I girl, I'm knowing that it's true. Cause you acting all moe and vanilla in my view. So this is for them waifus. Straight 2D flex in my life, fool. If you fuck with hentai, you my dude. Let the beat right out, keep it nice and smooth, yo. Hello?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weeabooze, the anime podcast where some of the most unqualified
Start over. Hey, start over, bitch.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weeabooze, the anime podcast where some of the most unqualified people try to answer your anime questions. I'm Kyle.
I'm Sam. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Hunter.
We did it right that time. So,
Only took us 4 tries.
this week's topic is adaptations. It was inspired by Mitsuki Stop. So before I get into the specifics of their question, let's first go around on, say, how we feel in general about adaptations, specifically from something like manga to anime or visual novels to anime. Sam?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
You like them?
I don't dislike them.
Okay.
I'm pretty cool with it because I can't tell the difference. I don't really know if an anime I'm watching has been adapted or not.
I think in general, most of the adaptations I've seen have been pretty good. Like, I know Steins Gate's adapted from a VN. I know Shingeki's adapted from a manga. And ReZero is apparently very well adapted from a manga. So, that's like 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what's really surprising is that 90% of anime per year is an adaptation. And it's easy to understand because it's profitable. There's so much source material out there. It's really easy for anyone to pick it up based on sales and say, this is a moneymaker.
Mm-hmm. Most of the material's already there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you also think about it from a business sense, like, it's way less, like, upfront cost to make a manga first. And then, like, you know, if people latch to it and they're like, oh, this is good, then, you know, you only spent whatever amount of money on the manga, whereas if you do an anime, it's like way more costly with the animation, getting voice actors.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like the problem with adaptations is that the content was created for a different medium. Like, when moving from one medium to another, you are destined to lose something.
Okay.
Yes, you can gain other things, but at the rate things are being adapted, I just feel like it's so unlikely for creators to put out good adaptations, just because it's just what's next, boom, 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 boom. They're putting out all these things.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Think of any psychological thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and think of its manga. Poop.
Take a drink.
Has anyone got a drink?
Oh, we didn't talk about.
You have to drink twice, actually. I heard 2 clanks.
Oh my goodness. Hunter,
And we didn't talk about the
stickler.
rules. We didn't reiterate the rules. Hunter, or what we're drinking.
Oh,
Oh.
well, everyone's kind of drinking something different. Jeremy is drinking Long Trail Ale from
Damn.
Long Trail Brewing Company in Vermont. I am drinking our Nimbus Brown Ale that we had a bit ago, and Sam is
Not
not
drinking.
drinking.
Sober.
Looks like you need a drink.
You didn't
And to
want
take
one.
a drink
Take a drink for what?
for not drinking.
Glug glug glug. Nice one, Sam.
Thanks.
Anyway, so think of a psychological thriller and think of its manga.
Mm-hmm.
It would be pretty confusing, I imagine it. I would say the place where adaptations do well is the easiness or the easygoing watching. Like the thing you gain by adapting something, you may lose some of the story or dialogue or something to shorten it to fit it in the allotted time that the anime has to air. But you gain the, like I said, the flow of it. I can't picture reading a psychological thriller with stills, but I can picture myself sitting there trying to think introspectively at a page. I
Right.
can picture myself sitting there introspectively with music and with a still or something happening on the screen.
Yeah.
That's where I think adaptations are good, or they flourish.
I mean, I think they flourish in shonen genre because, like, you can draw a pretty cool fight scene, but you're limited to, like, you know, frames, like single frames
Right.
of a fight scene, whereas, you know, you can get this really cool, you know, sequence in a animation.
Yeah, I definitely feel like for shonen, adaptations are an enhancement to the original. You get that. It's like, what does Ichigo's Bankai Getsugo Tensho sound like? We get that sound. We can associate it with different things like that. We get a deeper level
A more
of interaction.
complete picture, right?
But creators follow the source material too quickly, and that's what makes a bad adaptation. And a lot of people would disagree. People say source material is sacred, don't alter a single line, it needs to be frame for frame perfect. But I would argue the opposite. I say don't copy the source material. The original work was created to be told in a specific medium, like manga or a visual novel, and manga has restrictions. We need to free it from those restrictions, break it down entirely, and reconstruct it in order to utilize every aspect of its new medium. It's not sacred like everyone says. Don't be afraid to adapt it. I want to see anime versions of manga, not a manga turned into an anime. You know?
No,
Okay.
that doesn't make sense. You want to see an anime version of a manga, but not a manga turned into an anime?
Right.
Yeah, so
I want.
it's okay to change some stuff if you think it would benefit the anime.
I don't want a literal adaptation. I don't want, like, I've already read it. What's the point? I want it to see made into like a real passionate anime, not just a visual form, like a visual comic book.
Okay. So
You seem still confused.
with the adaptation,
No, I get it.
Okay.
you're expecting something more.
Right.
Like it's supposed to make up for, like, because it's adapted, it's supposed to make up for it in somehow.
Right. It should. We argued that there are some things only anime can do. So if we're converting a manga to an anime, manga wouldn't have that thing that only anime could do. Therefore, it should implement whatever that quality is.
Right. But I mean, manga is pretty unrestricted, like anime is. I would say that's the reason they're so closely related.
What, do you have an
Redirecting.
example of something that you
Yeah,
think is
Monster. Monster is the perfect example of. It's still a great anime. It's still a great series, regardless of the form you watch it in. But it was a bad adaptation because it was a frame-for-frame adaptation, and it suffered terrible pacing problems. I know someone who would love Monster. It would be their favorite thing they would ever watch, but they can't watch it because it's too slow.
Okay.
But if the director of it was a little bit more lenient with the source material, he could have changed the pacing, made it like 10 episodes less.
Right.
And it would have
give
been perfect.
And give it a little bit more bang, I guess. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, I can definitely see that.
And a current example is Mob Psycho. I talked about it a little bit. If Mob Psycho was turned into an anime, if it was turned into an anime exactly like Monster was, where it's frame for frame, it wouldn't be successful whatsoever. But because the directors are doing it completely out of order, they're making it more anime suitable, it's doing really well.
What do you feel about the original Full Metal Alchemist? Because I know that it followed the source material for like 14 episodes, and then it ran out of source material. Like Brotherhood was the manga adaptation, the true manga adaptation, and the original was we ran out of source material, we're gonna make it up.
Right, that was silly. That was just, I mean, it turned out okay, because conceptually it was already really interesting.
Right.
But, I mean, I almost kind of want to put that aside and just talk about Brotherhood. And Brotherhood is an adaptation that was extremely successful, but it's because of the way the manga was formatted. Think about how manga is typically released. It is short, weekly bursts alongside other chapters from different series. That alone is a really bizarre thing to adapt into an anime because of the nature of it. A chapter has to catch the reader in like 10 to 15 pages per week, while also continuing a huge overarching story. Full Metal did not do the conventional manga release. It had like double-length chapters. So it already had a good pacing and like script going for it.
To be adapted.
Correct.
So you think that was just something that was easy to adapt?
I do.
Okay.
Based on the way it was released.
I can see that. I would argue that animes that are original, that are also still good, are the cream of the crop. Something an adaptation can be good, I suppose, but originals I know are true to what they're trying to come across, or how they're
Of
trying
course.
to come across.
Things should be made from scratch like that in their own medium. I told Sam this earlier, if you do a search for best anime, almost all the results will be original works.
Okay, I can see that.
Was so Bebop, I think, is
Bebop is original.
Kill la Kill was original.
Yep.
Gurren Lagann,
Yep.
Ooh,
Ergo Proxy, one of my favorites.
haven't
Yeah.
seen it. All of the adaptations I've seen, I can't compare to the manga because I haven't read the manga.
Have you ever read a book?
I have read a book.
Well, I'm sorry, that sounded really sarcastic. Have you ever read a book that was turned into a movie? Or read a comic that was turned into a movie? Have you ever, what's your
Ender's Game.
Sure.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
It's a book feels really original. Like I said, a book feels really original. A movie that it's adapted to, or adapted to, feels like it has to appeal to the masses. Feels like there are so many rules it's got to follow and cram into this time frame that just it obviously doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
I thought of mine.
Yeah, okay.
Lord of the Rings. I read Lord of the Rings, watched Lord of the Rings, love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a pretty good
No,
movie.
Really good.
There are definitely exceptions.
I mean,
I'm just saying the majority of adaptations compared to original works tend to be worse than originals.
but that's just your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that.
I'm almost in the same boat as Hunter, where I don't have enough experience on the subject matter to like have a valid opinion or valid examples. But question, how much of you not liking adaptations is based off nostalgia? Like, I wonder if you were to have seen the anime first and then read the manga afterwards, do you think you'd have the opposite reaction?
No, because I typically do watch the anime first and then read it. Because anime is my preferred form of media.
Okay.
So it's your preferred form, but you find them subpar to the original?
The adaptations.
I want to say yes, but I haven't thought of my reasoning. Hold on.
Adaptations are worse than the original.
Tend to be.
Right. So you're saying you watch an anime, go back and read the manga, and you're like, oh wow, that story actually is good and makes sense. Whereas
Yeah.
the anime kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
sure,
a lot
I
of
can
people
see
don't
that.
even give them that second chance because that adaptation
course.
is the original to them.
Exactly. Okay. Huh. Okay. That leaves a lot to be desired, then, of the anime. I can see that, but man, manga's just a lot of work.
Then to me, that means why aren't you just a ridiculous manga reader that reads everything?
Because I like anime as a medium. It's what appeals to me most. That's what I'm saying.
And it's probably the same as any other form of entertainment. There's probably still just a ton of it, and you have to sift through all the crap to find the good.
Yeah. And adaptations aren't bad. They're just, they tend to be lesser than the original. We're repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
I just think that
I think we agree,
what
actually,
you
for the most part.
Damn it.
Well, no. I still think that what you gain from going to an anime like medium is better than anything that you lose. If you lose a little bit of story elements or you lose, pieces of the story here and there, I think that what you gain from seeing it animated, putting voices to the characters, hearing, the sounds of what you read about actually add more to it than, you can take away from, being a different medium and having to adapt the story somewhat.
That I agree on, yes.
I feel like there's almost a bit of pretentiousness to preferring all originals versus the adaptations, only because I think a lot of it stems from wanting what's authentic, what was intended, where if you see someone wearing like a fake Ralph polo, you're like, it ain't Ralph though. It's like it sounds like the same shit to me, where it's not the real thing.
But
That's a good one.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. But my whole point is, I think a good adaptation, like I said earlier, is something that utilizes the new source, the new medium,
Right.
which in this case would be anime. And I feel like it's what I said, which is it needs to be deconstructed and reformatted. So my question to you would be, how far can something, if you agree with me, how far can something be like torn apart and rebuilt before it is something else entirely? And if it is that a bad thing?
I mean, the only way you can answer that question, I guess, is objectively is with the numbers. How many people enjoyed the original manga versus the adaptation anime? If you lose too many numbers there, then the original was better.
That's like an old philosophical question, but I can't remember. It's like an old paradox, but I can't remember what that paradox is called. I'm gonna look up what the paradox is called. But the idea is, say you have a boat, right? Boats need to get repaired. Say the mast falls off, you replace the mast.
Oh, once you replace everything?
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. You replace one part, it's the same boat. More parts break, you keep replacing parts. At what point after replacing the old parts with new parts is the boat not the same boat? Is it no longer the SS Sam? Like, what makes it the SS Sam? Is it the parts, or is it the soul, quote unquote, of the boat? And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You can remake a manga into an anime, and doesn't matter what you do to it, but there's that awkward, how much can you change without losing the integrity or the soul of the show?
That is such a good point to bring up. That feels really fitting. I would argue that the boat kept its soul the whole time. Like it has.
Yeah, the new parts kind of take from the old parts.
As soon as the new part is put in, it's original. As soon as the new part is put in and being used, that's part of the boat. It is the boat. So whatever the boat thinks it is right now,
Same thing with
is.
like new band members. Like, say you have your founding 5 members, and then a guy your bassist leaves, you get a new bassist, your singer leaves, you get a new singer, and then eventually 10 years down the road, none of the original band members are left, but those previous, like the band members that got brought on that interacted with the 4 original members kind of got the,
they retained
became part of the band, and then I say that they are still the same band at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The paradox is called the Ship of Theseus. Thank you.
Theseus.
Let's get back to Mitsuki Stop's original question, which was, what is your opinion on anime adaptations based on things other than manga and light novels, like games, novels, etc., or even originals? Also, American Sword Art Online live action TV series, am I right or am I right? In all honesty, I'll give it a 100% chance to see how it goes.
Sword Art is
Getting
original.
a live action.
I kind of want to watch one episode.
It's getting an American live
Dude,
action.
we could do that for our special episode. We review the first episode of the Sword Art Online live action.
I'm gonna skip to the end of the question because adaptations are fine, but I've never seen a live action adaptation of any animated anything that wasn't shit.
Oh,
ever.
That's your qualifier.
That has surpassed,
and
much less surpassed.
Sword Art Online is already awful. Making an awful remake of something that's I can't.
Have you seen Sword Art?
But dude, it could be so bad.
What?
It's
Have you
good.
seen Sword Art Online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you finish it?
No, I couldn't.
What episode did you get to?
Huh? 16?
Yeah, probably me.
Sure.
It's gonna suck.
No, it's going to be really bad. It might make a lot of money, but it's going to be bad. But in terms of your question, in terms of like video games,
Tales of Zestria. That's airing now, Kyle. How is it?
I couldn't.
Couldn't? That bad?
Yeah. I've
Wow.
never come across, no, that's not true. I rarely come across video games with good stories to start with.
They are rare.
So
Mad Dog.
if the source material isn't good, I don't think the anime is going to be good.
I think part of the reason video games have trouble with the story is because you have to be engaged the whole time. It's like action sequences back to back.
Yeah.
And it's hard to put it into like a cohesive
Yeah,
narrative.
and games focus on gameplay, not story.
Right.
It's different. In terms of Sword Art, I think out of obligation I have to check it out. I'm not willing to. I'm going to give it a chance, but let's answer a few questions before we move on to what we've been watching. Anonymous asks, you guys talk about movies occasionally in your podcast. Which ones are each of your favorites and why? Is there a specific genre or theme you look for in anime movies that strike you?
I think I've said it a couple times in the podcast. Favorite anime movie is Tech on Concrete. I don't know if I have
movie.
a anime movie. It's Tech on Concrete. I loved so many things about it. It was just a great story, great characters, great messages underneath it. I like the fact that you could take it for what it was and it was still good, or you could dig deeper and find meaning into it. That was awesome. I don't think I have a favorite genre. I like a whole bunch of shit.
You also don't like a whole lot of genres.
That's true. Including
Drama.
Drama.
pure drama.
Dramas
Yeah.
are so cool.
I don't
Jeremy.
dislike drama.
That's fine, Jeremy.
Some of my favorites are easily. I like quick stuff. I like abstract stuff. We just watched Angel's Egg. I'm still not really sure how I feel about it, but I really like the style. Paprika. What are other similar ones like that? I really like Dead Leaves just because there's no meaning behind it. It's just
Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue, things like that.
abstract.
Abstract, sure.
Hunter.
I just like when there's a bunch of nice oh fuck yeah moments in it. So Sword of the Stranger,
Sort of the Stranger.
Hell
so
yeah.
fucking dope.
second Gurren Lagann movie, I actually really liked because I mean just a bunch of like shonen-y fuck yeah moments. Like that's what I enjoy.
I have two that I really like. It's Perfect Blue.
Haruhi movie. Sorry.
Oh god, such a good movie.
Hey, I'm changing my answer.
Okay.
My favorite is definitely the Haruhi movie. I saw it with Jeremy a long time ago, and I still want to rewatch it, even though it's like 2.5 hours. But
It's a long one.
God, I loved every second of it, and I don't know why, because like Haruhi, it's such a strange genre. Like I have no idea what to classify Haruhi as.
It's like a slice of life parody or a satire in a way.
Yeah, kind of. I've been kind of wanting to rewatch Haruhi in general, actually.
It's really cool to rewatch after you've seen a lot of things that tried to copy it or what things that came before it.
Sure.
Anyways, getting off topic. My two favorites are easily Perfect Blue and Angel's Egg.
Cool.
But if it was an anime movie based on a series, it would be End of Evangelion. Let's do one more question. Sludge Chan asks, top 3 anime airing right now.
Is that a Monster Musume reference?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What?
Sludge?
Sludge, yeah.
Isn't there like
There's a slime girl. I don't think
that's
that's her name. I don't remember.
whatever.
Top 3 anime airing right now. For me, it would be
I'm
probably ReZero, but I'm
hoping Mob Psycho is worth watching.
yeah.
I watched the second episode of Mob Psycho.
Yeah. I feel like the safest answers would be Sweetness and Lightning, Mob Psycho, and ReZero, I guess.
Sure.
Let's go into what we're watching.
So I watched the second episode of Mob Psycho, and once again, the ghost is what did it for me. The like pervert basketball ghost.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really know how else to describe it.
Pervert basketball.
Just
That's
really,
our hashtag right there.
He really liked balls.
Basketball.
Still, like, I'm glad that this episode was a lot less, what's the stupid psychic name? Raikon or something?
Yeah, something
It
like
was
that.
less Raikon heavy, and it showed
Man, you really don't like that guy.
he's such a guy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like this episode was definitely better than episode 1. It's still not like hooking me, but like the very end where he like decides to join the other club at the last
That
second,
was so funny.
I was like, that's pretty good. So I
Yeah.
will watch the third episode.
Okay.
It's going slow.
Okay. Sam, have you watched anything? No. Jeremy? No?
I've been watching House of Cards.
Cool.
It's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
think there's much to talk about with ReZero yet.
I was really underwhelmed by that
Seriously?
climactic episode. I felt like the production was really bad.
I think Wilhelm is badass. That deserves all 6 of his swords.
Sure. I mean, it was just...
I think it's
I-
a half episode. Like that's it clearly has like a second part.
regardless,
to it.
I felt like it was not drawn well.
I didn't
Like,
think it
the
was any-
perspectives were really off to me. It felt awkward and kind of... I don't know.
I don't know. I still think it's like just the first part of a 2-part episode
Maybe, yeah.
thing. So I don't think there's much to say about it.
The biggest news is that Bleach is over.
That's tragic.
And it was really emotional for me. I don't want to get too into it. If I'm thinking about maybe doing like a 5-minute
Tribute.
extra episode in between this and next week. If anyone wants to hear my opinions on it, just send me a message. If just one person says they want to, I'll make it. But I was extremely disappointed.
Ooh.
It was really bad. And I'm not the only person who feels that way.
I imagine.
So, Jeremy, you have some names?
Yeah, these are some people that reblogged our podcast, and that's fucking cool. Kyle.
Me.
Kyle reblogged it. What?
You're too far away from the microphone.
I think I'm alright.
You're like 10 feet.
Now you gotta say the whole sentence
guy
over.
These are
Because
some
it
people that
sounds
reblogged
awkward.
our podcast.
I talked
Now you
over
sound angry and aggressive.
Zetsubo Takina, The Frosty Knight, Mitsuki Stop, Max Mice, I Clothing, E for Arrow, Adventuron, Oniku, and Halo Millennium all reblogged our podcast. That's awesome. Thanks for doing that.
I clothing.
We're a real podcast once people start trolling us with their names, just so we have to read it off.
So please keep sending us
See more
questions.
That'd be funny.
So please keep sending us questions, questions and episode topics. We are at the weeabooze on Twitter. We're at the weeabooze on gmail.com. And you can also send questions to me at Secret Otaku on Tumblr. We'd like to get the word out, so please reblog, tell your friends, share it with people. And of course, if you have time, give us an iTunes review. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, some criticism would help.
Yeah, criticism, comments, whatever you want. We want to thank Hentai Dude for our intro music and Kid Boo for our outro music. And like always, get
Drunk and
Anime.
see you guys next week.
You can catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in a tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze, sacred fire. Don't be mad, I'm lit. Catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in a tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze, sacred fire. Don't be mad, I'm lit.
when Gon first showed like his power to Hisoka, he was
he like gets it's like
God, God, little boy, you're so hot.